Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time again for the unfiltered news from the reality zone, where political correctness is not spoken here. Compiled by G. Edward Griffin and his News Scouts, and commentary by Spellbinder 00 myself. And this is for August 11th through the 17th of 2012. And the mad one percenters of the world that are the elitist are coming up with their new scam that Al Gore would be proud of. Let's tax the air they breathe and tell them it's to save the planet. Yes, that will work. And guess what? People will believe that. Some out there will believe they must give money to somebody to save something they have no power to save. But you'll make them very, very rich. And that's what that's all about. Now to the headlines for this week. Headlines you may have missed or overlooked. Billionaires George Soros and John Paulson investing heavily in gold. 2 years ago, Soros said that gold was certainly not safe and was in a bubble. Yahoo, August 16th. Sure, he said that 2 years ago when he was trying to keep the gold under control. Him and a few other elitists throwing money at it, trying to keep it down, but they can't do it anymore. So they're just going to join and buy up all of it, so they can be the rich ones when it goes up to $5,000 an ounce for gold. Yes, that's been the projected high for a long time, and it might just happen when the economy collapses due to austerity. Next, U.S. Congressman Dennis Kucinich has introduced a bill to reclaim Congress' constitutional power to declare war and to rein in NATO adventures that are destabilizing foreign countries. With the present composition of Congress, the bill has zero chance of passing. Activist post August 15th, and it does. It has no chance of passing. It's one of those bills where if Congress is that corrupt and uncompliant, then it won't pass. U.S. The Department of Homeland Security has redacted information from the internet about the quantity of bullets it is buying. But it's too late. The numbers already have been noted. Yes, a lot of people already have collected save screens and snap screen savers and things of that nature. Many people are convinced that 1,040 caliber hollow point bullets are not necessary for training, and that their real intent is against the American people in the event of civil unrest. InfoWars, August 15th. And it's an awful lot of hollow point bullets, They do a lot of damage, more than just regular bullets. They have a tendency to blow open and take a bigger hole out the backside, and they have the caliber. 40 caliber is what Theodore Roosevelt used when he went down there and was shooting the natives. They were high on coke, because that was the only caliber that would bring them down, with 40 caliber. So they had all of his men armed on horseback along with their swords. He had 40 caliber weapons. Just a little tidbit of history there. Alrighty. U.S. Tens of thousands of young illegal immigrants enrolled in a program created by Obama that defers deportation and provides them with a Social Security card. Many see this as a backdoor amnesty. WSJ, August 15th, and it is. It's more voters for Obama if he can get a lot of them on there. He's guaranteed. As many as he can get on their vote. And that's all he's doing. He's trying to get in any way he can. Legally or illegally. Him and Mittens are both trying to do that. We all knew who the right candidate was, and we didn't get it. Because the powers that be didn't want you to have the correction and the repair. They want to just go ahead and crash the entire system and take us all with it, and then they'll get something out of the. They destroy things basically, and out of the ashes recreate things. in their image, and this is what they're really up to. Beirut, Lebanese militia kidnapped 30 Syrians and threatened to kidnap more in response to Syrian rebels who kidnapped one of their clansmen. The Syrian conflict is dividing Shiites and Sunnis, and discord is spilling over to other countries, all of which is tailor-made as an excuse for military intervention. That's right. We gotta do that so we can get our foot in the door. So we can go over there and nation build. That's what we're good at. Apparently that's all we're good at. Because we got taken over by nation builders and money junkies. New York Times, August 15th. Butterflies in Fukushima have genetic damage leading to an elevated rate of severe abnormalities that become even worse in subsequent generations. IO9, August 15th. Video broker Ann Bernhardt explains that as a result of the recent federal court ruling, customer segregated funds deposited in financial institutes can be used by those institutions as collateral for their own investments. Unlike giving somebody your money so they can cover their butt, but won't be able to cover yours. If their investments go sour, you lose your money, and there's nothing you can do about it. In days gone by, and used to be called stealing, now it's called banking. Bernhardt moves far beyond this issue, and her hard-hitting comments are worth your time. YouTube video, August 14th. That's the truth of it all. They were to steal your money. They're doing it anyway. They're taking people's pensions, saying you didn't deserve this, and it was your money you put away for it, like Social Security. That just became a piggy bank for the government. Oh man! A woman in Chester Township, Pennsylvania, was threatened with a $600 per day fine for feeding needy children on her property. You can't be doing that. That's too Christian, too godlike goodness. You can't be doing that. You gotta do evil things. Kick the kids out of the yard. Threaten them with their life. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't you know what government you're under? Her crime? She does not have a permit from the township to do so. So the township just turned around and said, well, you're not putting money in our pocket, so you can't do this. Even though we don't care if you did or not. We're not making money off of it. And that's how they think. Fox News, August 14th. They see the top getting away with it. Why not them, too? Minnesota, Child Protective Services is suing parents of an 8-year-old girl to force them to continue the child's chemotherapy treatments for her cancer. The parents believe that non-drug therapy is more effective and less harmful. Nevertheless, the court has ruled that the child will be taken away from the parents if they do not comply to the control freaks. That's right. Shoot, it made me go there. Oh, let me push the button in there. This madness. Sadly, this is a common experience in every collectivist country where the state assumes a higher authority than the people it supposedly serves. Natural News, August 13th. And that's the truth of it all. They just control freaks. They think you put them in there to be their god. That's what they are. They're tyrants. Petty little tyrants. Read Don Juan by Carlos Castaneda and listen to what the Indian sorcerer said. He said when he was being picked on, he knew exactly what he was up against. Petty tyrants. They just rural control tripped people. They have mental problems of their own, and they can't face them, so they take it out on everyone around them. U.S. Department of Homeland Security is planning to buy another 750 million rounds of ammunition to add to its present supply of 450 million rounds. These are hollow point bullets designed to expand upon entering the body and cause maximum damage. They are illegal in the U.S. except for law enforcement. Department of Home Security says they are for training purposes. Really? They can use 22s. They're a lot cheaper. InfoWars, August 13th. U.S. House Republicans file a civil lawsuit to force President Obama and Attorney General Eric Holder to release documents relating to the Fast and Furious gun trafficking program, which everyone knows they're guilty of now. Washington Times, August 13th. WikiLeaks reports that surveillance cameras using facial recognition already are deployed in many cities around the world, including the U.S. Raw story, August 13th. Yeah, you're being watched, traced. They know everything. It's got Big Brother, of course. U.S. The FBI has raided homes of Occupy activists in Washington and Oregon. In one raid, there were as many as 80 agents in body armor carrying assault rifles. Warrants for the raids are sealed, but the FBI says it is searching for anti-government literature and evidence of vandalism committed in the last year's May Day protest. Salem News, August 13th. Article to keep interesting how they're doing all this stuff you used to read in fictitious books about. Now they just go around and do it. Milk, people selling raw milk and vegetables on their property and produce. I mean, you're not going to the company store to get your stuff, you're doing something illegal. Star Keepable article. U.S. The FDA spies on its employees to prevent them from blowing the whistle about approving drugs and medical devices without questioning their safety or even reading the safety reports. Employees are told that their job is not to evaluate drugs, but to approve them. You don't hear them make them so. Cola, August 13th. Man. Mitt Romney's running mate, Paul Ryan, is widely acclaimed as a conservative, primarily because of his opposition to Obamacare. However, people gotta look up these people's voting records. I'm telling you, don't vote on somebody unless you know if it was something you wanted him to vote on. However, his voting record reveals that he is a Bush-era Republican who supports the banking cartel called the Federal Reserve and the continued loss of American sovereignty to the UN and big spending programs, so long as they carry the Republican label. New American, August 12th. Yep, check these people's voting records, I'm telling you. U.S. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, also known as the Mad Scientist Wing, is working on creating genetically engineered humans to become super soldiers who can perform superhuman feats. G.I. Joe, Daily Mail, August 12th, or X-Men. Pick your favorite superheroes. Let's see. Over here, Germany. Leader of the center-left opposition party says that those who avoid taxes by placing savings in Swiss banks should be imprisoned. He wants Swiss banks to provide customer data to the German government, the same as it now does to the American government. Yes, so your money's not really hidden if you got it in a Swiss bank account anymore. It is significant that Germany's leftist politicians look to the U.S. as a role model. That's because we're more left than they are. Reuters, August 12th. At least our government is. A high-ranking member of the Sinaloa drug cartel in Mexico says the Fast and Furious gun-walking scheme was not designed to track guns, but to supply them to his cartel. The purpose was to eliminate rival cartels so drug trafficking could be more easily controlled. There was never any plan to eliminate it, merely control it. The Blaze posted August 11th, and that's what it was all about, people. Making smoother money for some bankster who would be glad to laundry that money for a percentage. Top 5 U.S. banks have been told to make recovery plans for a major economic meltdown. This includes selling off assets and reducing the scope of operations. The Federal Reserve and the U.S. Comptroller of the Currency have advised the banks that they could not count on more bailouts, but that statement may be intended primarily to pacify the public. Chicago Tribune, August 11th. Here we go. Oh, man, here we go. More from their pharmaceuticals. Antipsychotic prescriptions for children have skyrocketed by 800% since 1993, which coincides with the rise of illegal marketing of these drugs for users that were not authorized. This led to a multi-billion-dollar fines for the drug companies, but profits greatly exceed the fines, so they are considered merely as a cost of doing business. Time posted August 11th, and that's exactly what they do. They don't care these drugs will kill you. They'll pay off whoever with chunk change for all the billions they made off that very drug that killed you or your loved one. It's just not right. Maharashtra, a state within India, has banned Monsanto's genetically engineered cotton seeds due to declining performance. The state also plans to investigate the possible correlation between these declining cotton crops and suicides among farmers. ENS posted August 11th, yeah, farmers killing themselves because the crop fails, and that was all the money they had was in that crop. Monsanto just destroyed their crop capability and killed them. 2 for the price of 1 bullet. That's a Monsanto. High-tech billboards and vending machines are using facial recognition to detect gender. They display different ads for men and women. Singularity Hub posted August 11th. Oh yeah, they're trying to make you feel like you're a prisoner in your own country. CEO of an organization that promotes singularity, the merging of man and machine, admits that eventually the superhumans will edge out humans. Natural Society, August 15th. Oh yeah. I mean, you got a bunch of people out there that think that they're going to become cyborgs. Crazies. Here is a brief history of false flag attacks throughout history in which governments staged military and terrorist attacks on their own people, making it look like they were carried out by their enemies. The purpose is to arouse public anger against the enemy and support for the government. Everyone should become familiar with this history. InfoWars, August 14th. And that's what it is all about. That's how they do it. That's how they roll. And everyone pays. Video. You are a den of vipers. If you've ever wondered about the famous struggle between President Andrew Jackson and the Second Bank of the United States, precursor to the Federal Reserve, of course, here is an excellent narration that brings the drama to life. If you are a history buff, this definitely is worth your time. Jesse's Calf, August 12th. And you'll learn why it was so vital not to let the banksters who are in our country control your money. Because once they do, you get what we got. This is what you want. This is what you get. You know the song. U.S. this year's pharmaceutical companies, military contractors, banks, and other corporations will pay as much as $8 billion in fines for fraud. On the surface, it appears that justice is being done. But consider this. 1. The money goes to the government, not to the consumers who were defrauded. So fraud becomes a nice source of revenue for the state. The more the better. 2. The executives of these corporations rarely are punished. They serve no prison time. The fines are paid by consumers and stockholders, and executives receive bonuses. Of course, when these conditions exist, fraud becomes a permanent part of the system. New York Times posted August 11th, and that's why pharmaceutical companies don't care. They're put cyanide in a capsule, and as long as they're making a profit over it, they'll continue to sell it and pay the fines. What they do, that's how they roll. Banksters or bankers fraud has infected the world, and according to this analysis has driven 100 million people into poverty. In most countries, this does not mean less entertainment or smaller cars. It means loss of health and earlier death. It's population control, of course. This will not improve as long as banksters' fraud goes unpunished. They should be punished. Look what they did to them in Iran. They executed them in Iran. They don't mess around. You try to defraud the people of Iran, you die. We need that here. We need to get rid of some of these banksters. Too big to fail is not an option. Washington's blog, August 11th. Now it's cool down time. I almost feel like drinking with Bob. I gotta have a cool down period after doing this newsletter. Man, it's amazing. Video. What's a flash orchestra? Well, here it is. Carefully planned, no doubt, but amazing just the same. Click to see the action. If they just come out there to just set up all of a sudden and start playing. It's great. Seen it before. Owl in flight. Click to enlarge. Make a good poster. Or even a puzzle. Wow. I like that. Oh. And you got your humor for the week. The unfiltered form. And article to be discussed. Who is riding the jackass? Somebody. Somewhere. Okay, well, that's the newsletter for this week from G. Edward Griffin and his wonderful newsletter, The Reality Zone, and Unfiltered News. And don't forget to check out his books and videos, especially World Without Cancer, where the FDA and everyone else in the AMA is just totally are telling people B17 doesn't exist, and it's in apricot seeds. And that's where you get the cancer cure. Laetrile, case histories, and here's more about it. Laetrile. Here's other books he has. Who's the Elite, Volume 9. You have The Second Death. And then this Creature from Jekyll Island, a wonderful book. Have that book. Everyone should have a copy of that one. That's what started him out on his great quest to understand the bankster system, the gangsters that take it over. Well, until next time, this is Spellbinder saying be good or be good at it. Have a wonderful weekend, and keep up on the news. Keep your eye upon the news, because it's happening right now. Good day.